Hello, Cheapari here. Today we're talking about Tron Lightcycle Run. This is a ride that opened up in April of 2023 in Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. We're going to talk about the implications of this ride, along with some of the discussion of the future of the brand. And I'll also end the video with a box opening of some of the merchandise that you see at the Tron Lightcycle Run gift shop. So with that, let's go back to the ride. So the ride itself is a semi-enclosed roller coaster. It goes about 60 miles per hour. It's a fun ride. It's not exactly a thrill ride, but it is a good time, emulating that light cycle type of style from being sucked into the grid popular from Tron Legacy. And it's a great fun time. Of course, it got the light cycles very similar to what you'd see in the movies themselves. And again, this ride is open in Walt Disney World in Magic Kingdom in Florida. The original ride opened up in Shanghai, I believe the year prior. Now, going into the gift shop itself, there's remote control toys in terms of the light cycles from Tron Legacy. And then there's action figures and frisbees that emulate the discs from the movie. The action figures is one of the ones that I picked up that I found to be pretty interesting. These are retro style figures from manufacturer Super 7, kind of giving off the nostalgia feel of the old Kenner figures from the late 70s and 80s. I'm going to do a box opening for one of those figures later on this video. Now let's discuss about the brand future. Tron Ares is the upcoming third film that is currently in production, currently filming right now, starring Jared Leto. The plotline of this film is identifying that an AI character or entity exits the grid or the virtual world into the real world, causing trouble and potentially being the antagonist of this movie. The film is to be directed by Joachim Ronning, and he is taken over from Joseph Krasinski, who filmed the previous Tron Legacy. Now, with this new entry, if we're talking about some spoiler territory, while previous director Joseph Krasinski is not filming this movie, he did identify that he spoke to Joachim in terms of this film, and he stated, "I do have a little bit of a connection to this film. I met with the director of the new film, and I know a little bit about the approach, but it is related partially to a previous version that we had called Tron Ascension, but through a different point of view. So I'm really excited to see what they do with it and thrilled that Tron's still alive." So again, this is a quote from previous director Joseph Krasinski in terms of a conversation he had with Joachim regarding this new entry. But the implications are strong. So whether this is just seen as Joseph Krasinski being happy that the Tron brand is alive, or does it actually mean something more story-wise in terms of there is the returning character of Tron, last seen in Tron Legacy, in a bit of a precarious position, having been kind of purified from the implications of Clue. Now, if that is indeed what we're trying to take on face value, that he does mean specifically Joseph Krasinski talking about the return of Tron, that is a good harken back to the previous films and good connectivity to the previous movies and bringing this character back as he protects the users. Now, with that, in terms of keeping the brand alive, we have, of course, the roller coaster, we have the new movie, and this is really just to keep the brand in the minds of consumers. And with that, I definitely want to do an unboxing of this toy that I purchased at Magic Kingdom. So in terms of something that's a little bit more limited, as you would find it at the Magic Kingdom Tron ride, is these Super 7 Tron figures. Now, these are 3 3/4 figures that are very retro style. They come separately packaged or with a light cycle, but there's pretty limited merchandise at the gift shop and being able to obtain some of these. Now, these were very briefly offered at Shop Disney. They sold out very quickly, and I believe at that time this figure with light cycle would retail for about $29.99. But since that was pulled down from Shop Disney and they're now appearing at the parks, they now retail for, I believe, $69.99. I was too excited to really remember the price. But in terms of finding these figures, there's much less of these than you'll find for the other merchandise that I've shown in this video. So if that's too rich for your blood, I do recommend picking up one of these coins that retail for less than $5. These are the Tron Arcade. If we can get a little bit look at the coin itself. identifies this is for the Flynn arcade. It's a little arcade coin, Flynn's arcade. Pretty cool to just be able to have some type of souvenir in terms of these arcade coins, talking about the grid. So definitely something that you might want to display if you've got a little bit of your own arcade or game room, to have some of these coins available. And these are very cheap nostalgia pieces that you can find at the Tron Ride gift shop. So back to the figure itself. Now, in terms of what is available for these figures, Super 7 is known to manufacture a lot of nostalgia and retro style figures, and this is no different, having a package that is very similar to the Transformers boxes in terms of this grid look. But they'll sell Tron and Lightcycle. They also sell Flynn in different variants, and they also have Sark, and they also have some of the figures separately, like Ram, that'll just be the figure itself without the Lightcycle. But of course, for me, I'm going to go for the original, the protector of the user, that is Tron himself. And as you can see in the packaging, it comes in this window packaging with the Lightcycle, the disc, and the figure itself. And again, that kind of very retro style, like the old Kenner Star Wars figures. This is Super 7. I'm going to take a quick look at the box before we get open. There again, the logo for Tron on the sides, and here are some of the figures in the line that they sell separately. They also have Yori, but some of these figures were not available at the gift shop. You find more of like the remote control stuff rather than these actual figure sets. And as I said before, you've got Ram, you've got Tron, you've got Flynn. I believe they also have Sark as well. But again, getting very retro in terms of showing you the different figures in the line. And then there's the image of the Walt Disney Parks right there at the top. And on the side, once again, the Tron logo. So I'm not one to kind of keep the boxes. If I'm going to open it, I'll just kind of display the figures on a shelf. And that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to get this open and see how it looks inside. Okay, so we have the figure out of the package. It comes with this little cardboard backdrop of the grid. Should you wish to display it, this is a nice way of doing it and having that kind of like grid background. But in terms of the figure itself, I am very disappointed in terms of the posture. One leg is definitely longer than the other one. As you can see, there's a height difference with the legs. And I think that's mainly due to try to get him into a disc holding pose. If I can get this to focus. A disc holding pose, so the disc itself, if we can kind of focus on that. There we go. It's held with this, or could be held in his hand with this little peg at the bottom. And I think that the whole purpose of this figure is to kind of have that type of, if we can get that focus back on the figure itself, there we go. For him to hold the disc in his hand and kind of have more of an action pose of some sort. It's not going to be, it's not going to be the most steady, as you can see there. Let's see if we can try this again. Again, I think that the whole purpose here is to have him some type of action pose. There we go. He holds it a little bit more steady there. Come on. Maybe try to get some type of balance. There we go. So again, one leg is longer than the other one, and I think the purpose, as I said before, is to get him in an action pose, and he'll never just be able to stand straight because one leg is longer than the other one. So that is Tron. He looks very retro style. He looks good in terms of his look in the original movie. Come on, let's get that focused. There we go. These had more fair or more basic looks to the likenesses of the actors back then, very in keeping with the Kenner figures. But this is exactly how he looked from the movie, and you got plenty of textures that go all the way on the back. And I love these figures. I'm more of a collector for retro style figures than anything else. I buy many of the figures that recreate the Kenner style for the Disney Plus Star Wars shows, and this will definitely look good next to those. So putting Tron back, there we go. Keep on losing focus here. There we go. So going on to the Lightcycle, this is a very sturdy plastic. It's got wheels on the bottom. You have the Disney logo on the bottom as well, along with identifying Super 7 and the place of manufacture. Has a pretty decent balance there. Again, you can kind of put it to the side like that. or there as well, and it'll still balance fine. So it can do a little bit of a curve if you're trying to pose it, or just standing straight as well. But again, nice sturdy plastic, cool looking retro Lightcycle. Of course, you're not gonna be able to fit the figure in here, but that's not the main purpose. The main purpose is for, I would assume, display. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep this grid background, but I think that figure set looks good. It's, again, expensive, so just be aware if you're looking for these at Disney parks. It'll be probably double the price that you're probably willing to pay, but you're not gonna be able to find these anywhere else outside the parks, and these go for pretty high prices on eBay as well. So that is my look at the Tron figure. That's my look at the Tron ride and some of the things that have come up with respect to the movie. Hopefully you guys like this this video about Tron. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time on the grid. Bye.